and good evening, good morning, depending on wherever you're at. And thank you for joining us on Graps TV and The Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man, and welcome to your WWE Smackdown, AW Collision, and Rampage review. Apparently, we decided we were going to have all three shows on one night, and quite frankly, it's a lot of wrestling to watch, a lot to comprehend, a lot to Whew, this is going to be, there's going to be a whole lot of skimming over on this. I'm just going to tell you right now, some of it just didn't hit for me. Some of it did, but it is what it is. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I already got two viewers. Hey, that works. I'll take them when I can get them. It doesn't matter to me. But anyway, we got some breaking news out here. Tony Khan closed out Rampage tonight with a resounding I think it's safe to say that we're going to be on TBS and TNT for a long time. And what that has signaled to everybody, including myself, of course, it's late around here. It might be early where you're at, it might be waking up time or whatever, and that's great. But what that signaled to me is that we are literally about to get the announcement of the television deal that we've been talking about for quite a few months. And, you know, as much as I would like to say I told you so, I'm just not going to stoop down to that level. And I've been looking at all the there's a lot of people who would like a lot of apologies from a lot of people. I'm just not that guy. You know what? We knew they were going to get a TV deal. I knew the product was good. Tony Khan knows the product is good. And you know what? Ratings, yeah, but there's not even really a consideration anymore. And besides, WWE's going into the land of no rating. And so at this stage of the game, it's no longer a plausible argument that all of these things that have once mattered over an extended period of time, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to break out. We don't know how much, how it breaks, what's streaming. Are we going to get a streaming deal kind of like what WWE's got? If we do the streaming deal, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, keep bringing the same stuff that got you there. Don't do this. Well, you're only paying like at the time it was like what, $5 when this thing first kicked off. So we're gonna give you 5 matches. Don't do that, Tony. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. Especially if you get on Max, we need to rock this thing out. The pay-per-views need to remain the same quality. I mean, Tony Khan is the king of pay-per-views. Anybody wants to argue with that? I'll sit here all day with you, because quite frankly, All In was better than the last two pay per views combined. All Out is probably going to be better than anything they got going forward, except if they put something together for the Royal Rumble. If they put something together for the Royal Rumble that really wows me, then I'll consider it. But right now, Tony Khan's putting the best pay per views out there. I would gladly pay $50 to watch one. I can remember a lot of WWE pay per views that I gladly paid $49.99 for, $79.99 for WrestleMania. But I have yet to get a pay per view from AEW that left me going, damn, I got robbed. I really haven't. You're going to spend that much money going to a movie. So I don't really have the time, the patience, the energy, or any of that. I just don't want the quality to die. That's all there is to it. And usually Sometimes we get a degradation of quality when it comes to certain lines, and all I'm saying is I'm happy. I know we're there. I don't have to think about it. The only estimation I'm thinking right now is how much. Because it's like I was just literally on, one of my friends' streams here just a few minutes ago, listening and watching, and they were like, "Well, if it's over a half a billion, that's going to be something." And I agree. I don't disagree. Anything over a half a billion, I'm going to be happy with. I am sitting somewhere between 1.5 and 2. That's just where I'm at the moment. And people are going, "Oh, no, no, that's just way too high." I don't think so. I don't think so because they're using them in other shows. They're developing new outlets with which to present them with. And I think with that it comes a whole lot of extra work in there. So yeah, I mean, I'm at one. Honestly, my low end right now is 1.25 for 5 years. My high end would be around 2. I'm really serious about that. Been stuck on that number for about 2 months now. It hadn't changed. The only thing that would lower it or raise it is depending on the stability of Max. And in a previous life, I worked hand in hand with HBO and what we used to call Skinemax. And Cinemax was treading water. HBO was the hot thing. Um, True Blood, Game of Thrones, Sopranos. They just kept on and on and on. And Cinemax was kind of treading water. They were conjoining, so on and so forth. And somehow now it's not even HBO anymore, it's Max. So call me crazy. Good comeback, whatever. But the big news out of this right now is Tony Khan says he's sure that they're going to be on TBS and TNT for a very long time. So that's our signal. That's the breadcrumb. We're there. Now, do we get the actual announcement tomorrow night, sort of as the cherry on top of what is sure to be even better than All In? Who knows? But in other news, Paul Heyman thinks that WWE has the greatest women's division in the history of everdom. And no, just not just no, but hell no. Um, I I think that WWE has some bright spots in the women's division. I see it. I'm not going to pretend like I don't see it. I'm not going to pretend like Bianca Belair isn't all that in a bag of chips. Okay? I'm not going to pretend that Io Sky is not all that in a bag of chips. Not going to pretend that Asuka's not all that in a bag of chips. They are. So, but to say they have the best division ever, I can only remember like 2 women's matches, and both of them involve Mercedes Moné, who's now wrestling at AEW. So, Paul, I know I've called you out a couple of times, but sir, this is ass kissing on like you are the new final boss of ass kissing. That's all there is to it. They're going to keep you, Paul. They're not going to get rid of you. You're the only beacon of intelligence on the whole fucking show. You're not going anywhere. As soon as everybody hears, ladies and gentlemen, my name, and they automatically know how to act. And I don't care where you go. You go to Japan, you go to France, you go the moon, Mars. There'd be Martians going, my name is Paul Heyman. They wouldn't know who you are. You're not going anywhere. You don't have to kiss any ass. And that's fact. And by the way, you do see the new layout here. The new layout is a result of we are about to catch a sponsor or 3, and all 3 of them asked for a layout similar to what I've got here, and they're happy with it. So shout out to some sponsors. Shout out to some money. also breaking news. I should be finishing that up Monday or Tuesday. Very excited about that. Very excited to bring this on a more regular basis as far as the streams go. Because you know what? I work a real job. And when I say a real job, I mean a job that actually has a salary attached to it. So most of the time I do blogs, and the streams I do traditionally on the weekend, that's about to change. And I'm very happy. I couldn't be any happier. I don't know. I just backed into it. It's just total luck. Happened to be working with a client, and I'm like, hey guys, you have a marketing budget? And they're like, yes, we do. I'm like, if you, and then that was the conversation. That's pretty much how the conversation went. Very happy with it. Hey, shout out to 6 viewers. This is really good. We're starting off heavy here. At least for me, 6 is quite heavy. And very excited. Thank you very much. Anyway, if you have anything you want to throw out there, throw it in the chat. I'm monitoring. Twitter. I'm monitoring Facebook. I'm monitoring YouTube. I'm watching all the chats at one time. It's not easy. So you see me look around. Got YouTube on the TV over there. Got Twitter right here. And I got Facebook right over here. So you're going to see me moving around, kind of see where the chats are, because apparently I can do everything in the world but make those chats show up. So it is what it is. I do know they've worked in the past because Covalent TV set in on one of my shows, dropped a chat, so I knew it worked. So it works. Drop the chats. Otherwise, this is going to be really quick. We're going to be done with this in like an hour, tops. You know, it's not even that hard. Not even that hard. As far as drones go, and as far as my red lights, I didn't really find what I considered to be a great red light today. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, and as soon as this TV deal breaks, we're going to have red lights for a decade after this. Starting with, oh, I don't know, Eric Bischoff. As much as I hate to say it, Conan and that crew, it's just going to be Meltdown City. So for those of you who actually like AEW as much as I do, just take a break from social media right after it gets announced. It's going to be there all week, but it's going to be at its highest and most vitriolic state within about the first 8 to 12 hours. So I'm purposefully staying off of social media just so I can come back to all these pearls that I know I'm going to find. Especially if it gets even remotely close to 1 billion. Oh, drones going to be losing their damn minds. It's going to be beautiful. It really is. And I say that not angrily. I'm not even jealous. I'm not even mad at you. To be honest with you, 20 minutes after I'm done, I don't even care. Whatever you had to say, if we had an argument about it, 20 minutes later, I don't care. Life is short. It's way too short to waste it behind a keyboard arguing with probably what is a fucking robot. So, that being said, neither here nor there. I do believe we're going to have a major meltdown, though. I do believe it's going to be very visible. It's going to be very noticeable. And it's going to be led by the usual suspects. All of that compromised WWE media talking about, I don't know how they got that much money. They don't even have viewers. Well, you know what, dumbasses? Y'all are not even going to be able to tell who the viewers are starting January 1st for your flagship show. So who cares? Anyway, amazingly enough, I am waiting on the numbers. I'm not going to check the fast numbers. I'm going to be sitting there tomorrow waiting on bated breath to see how bad this was, just so the WWE fans can get in their last little dig of, hey, we went head to head, ha 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 ha, we had over 1,000,005 and y'all had like, shut the hell up. Okay? Just don't. Bad faith, don't do it. But yeah, we did have 3 shows tonight. We kicked off with Smackdown. I'm going to kick them off in the order I normally kick them off in. Smackdown's going to go really, really, really quick. I can tell you that right now. I was not impressed with it. To me, it just felt like What is that? Hang on just one second, everybody. Okay. To me, it kind of felt like this is our last show, and it doesn't really matter what we do. But AEW's got a show, so we got to put our stars on and do relatively nothing for 2 hours, which they succeeded at. Show opens up with Cody Rhodes, shocker. And, he stepped in the spotlight, fresh off a victory at Bash of Berlin, but he's not one to rest on his laurels. And drink Wheatley's vodka. No, I'm just kidding. I threw that part in there. For those of y'all who don't know, he's got a vested interest in Wheatley's, which is why we probably all have that damn jingle memorized by now, because you cannot watch a plea without it. Wheatley's so good you'll drink it neatly. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And it's like a symphony of cheers, and everybody's just going along with it. But wait, there's more. Here comes trouble, or should I say, the bloodline. Will this be the week that the bloodline finally loses? Spoiler alert, I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, let's see here. Solo Coleslaw and his crew make their way to the ring. Coleslaw wastes no time, gets right in Rhodes' face. God, this was horrible. I mean, seriously, has Solo even won a match? I think he's won like 2 matches since his moment with John Cena. Exactly what about that is reasonably intimidating to anybody? I'll wait. I don't mind. I really don't. I don't mind. I'll wait. Oh, plot twist. Jacob Fatu shows up. And blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they're having a steel cage match next Friday on the USA opener of Smackdown on USA with the new logo, which is the same logo. They just moved the W up here. Actually, they added a W to it, I think. Something like that. New logo, same as the old logo. Just added a W on there. This is going to be the safest cage match in the history of cage matches. So if you're thinking you're going to get some blood out of it, maybe a little gore, maybe a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that, no, it's not going to happen. Never. No, never. And quite frankly, WWE tried to mess around a little bit with blood here and there, and apparently the only person that can pull it off is CM Trash. CM Hypocrite. Whichever one he makes him the maddest, I really don't give a shit. CM Trash, CM Hypocrite. He seems to be the only one that can pull the blood angle off at all. So this is probably going to be the safest steel cage match in the history of steel cages. I mean, they're probably going to have a pillow fight, but it ain't going to be anything serious. But anyway, they make a setup for a steel cage match next week. I'm escaping that. Anyway, Bailey shows up with Bailey. Bailey comes in next with Tiffany Stratton. We think we're getting a turn here. I will stop and say this. Because everybody says I'm highly critical of WWE. I'm highly critical of stupid, mentally insulting WWE. But every once in a while, my most famous statement is even a broke clock is right twice a day. This is one of those times. The whole Tiffany Nia Jax thing we've got going on right now where you're not sure this, you're not sure that. And they're doing it with Kevin Cartman too, with Chody. And that sort of you're not sure if you're going to turn type scenario that's going on. That is the only ray of sunshine in the middle of all this bullshit. But once again, long story short, Bailey beats Tiffany. It's not really that bad. It was one and done pretty quick. Rose Plant, we're all done. And oh my god. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the correct sound to fully here it is. That's right. Giovanni Vinci's grand entrance after weeks of video packages. Strong video packages. It's like Mr. Stark says on Covalent TV all the time, and this has been the most true statement I've heard ever. Video packages are great, promos are great, wardrobe is great, storylines are great. Eventually, you've got to get in the ring and wrestle. Eventually, you have to finish the production. Not finish the story, finish the production. This is all a production, guys. Face A gets attacked by heel A. Heel A, face A do a lot of talking, and in the case of WWE, we get a lot of video packages and recaps of the recaps and recaps of those just in case you missed the last 5 recaps. But eventually, you have to get in the ring. And sure enough, Giovanni Vinci got in the ring with Apollo Crews. And less than 4 seconds later, it was over with. And your winner is what? Apollo Crews, not Giovanni Vinci? Yeah, they buried him. Moving right along, Owens, Waller, and Theory. That one half-ass broke down too. Long story short on that one. Long story short on that one too. Kevin Owens wins with the Stone Cold Stunner. And, because we've been teasing breakups for fucking ever, we're going to tease the breakup of Theory and Waller, which, number one, they should have never been a tag team together. I'm not a big Grayson Waller fan. I was starting to come around to Austin Theory right before they did this. And this thing has been nothing but ass. The whole thing, nothing but ass. The tag team title run, the formation, that stupid ass talk show they do, nothing but ass. Period. I can't even give it 2 thumbs up and pretend like I like it. I never did. And I think Grayson Waller has always been the problem with this thing. I don't think it's Austin Theory. I think if Austin Theory were left alone to his own vices, where he could have his Austin moment for real, I think Austin Theory could book Austin Theory better than everybody else is booking Austin Theory. If they give him just a little bit of creative control for him to be who he is, he could be phenomenal. He could be a star in just about anywhere, mid-card to lower top tier at this stage right now. He's too young, too green, too everything. Plus, he's too WWE trained. It'd take him a year to get that stench off of him. The clock, the hard cam, all that shit, working just that one section outside the ring, that's a lost art. But it would take him a while to get back to what he was before all of this, which wasn't much, mind you, when they got him. But they got him early, they got him WWEized, and it was just pretty much that. I think Austin Theory has a grand future ahead of himself, just not in WWE. I think he's another one of those that could be like Matt Cardona. He could break out on the indies, do about a 2, 3, 4 year indie run, writing his own material, working his own material, the whole 9 yards. I think Austin Theory's got a brain for the business, but I just think he's just in a bad spot because it's obvious they don't like him that much. Otherwise, they wouldn't book him like a fucking clown. But they do. So you understand, I'm not always making fun of WWE. I'm not always grilling WWE. They have some good moments. Just overall, the packaging of this show, and I think I'm going to go one step further because everybody else is like, well, what's going on with this? What's going on? And you think it's Triple H, you think it's this, you think it's the other. No, actually, I think that WWE and Fox have been fighting for so fucking long. Fox would have liked for them to have just backed out and left. They didn't leave. Fox lost a ton of money on this deal. They lost a ton of money, and this deal was nowhere near the Netflix deal as far as payouts and things that they were expecting in return. It wasn't even close. That's my breadcrumb for the day. But I think Fox wanted to be rid of them. They wanted to be rid of Fox. That's why you get the over censoring. Because even USA is better at it than Fox is. Because, at least USA doesn't try to just hammer home that we're censoring stuff. Because basically, Fox winds up cutting out 2/3 of the commentary and everything, trying to censor the show. And I just think it's been a fight from jump, which is one of the main reasons why I think SmackDown is even more egregious to try to review than Raw. I won't even try to review Raw because too many people do it. It's a Monday, and like I said, once this deal here goes through, I will probably start reviewing Raw just because I want to have the regular amount of shows on there that they're expecting out of me, and I want to be able to produce them at that level. So from that standpoint, I probably will start, but it really is hard to cover Raw because it's written in such a manner that it is not written for grown-ups. It's written for children. And I have a hard time following a children's story where a fight breaks out every 15 or 20, in WWE's case, every half hour on the half hour. I have a hard time following children's stories that have fights. And that's really just my main point right there. It's hard to have a PG product with women's body parts basically hanging out all over the place and everybody fighting to solve their problem. Because that's not a proper children's story. But they're still trying to tell it in that vein. That's the PG era. So that is part of it. I don't think that's going to go away with the Netflix deal. In fact, I automatically know it's not going to go away with the Netflix deal. But it's just one of those scenarios where you feel like that this has been like a long time coming, and now the divorce is final. And now we're just splitting up the kids. We're splitting up who gets this, who gets that, who gets the kids. We happen to be the kids, by the way. So after this divorce, you could almost feel like at the end of the show, because I was watching two TVs. It's crazy. I have two TVs in my room. I'm watching them both. It felt like at the end of the show, there was like this sigh. Like it's over. Let me do my thank yous and get the hell out of the door, which is exactly what Triple H did at the end of the show. He put out this big thank you post for 5 years and blah, blah, blah. Sorry about your damn wallet. We'll catch you next time. But it really felt like this was more of a divorce show than about anything else. And that's the best way to describe it. And that's why it's often been hard for me to cover SmackDown, because it really does feel like you're physically going through a breakup and you're just waiting for mom and dad to split up so life can get back to reasonable normal. You can get off to the counselor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's how this whole thing has felt for literally, I'm going to say, January. Because they knew their big boy. Not only did the show not produce any ROI, but now what little bit of ROI they produced is getting ready to lose to Cody Rhodes. And I really think that just really, really, really cemented the deal. Fox really wanted to be rid of WWE, and WWE frankly wanted to be rid of Fox. It was a mutual hate, and it shows, guys. For those of us who watched entertainment most of our natural lives, you can really tell when the show and the network are going at it. For those of y'all who don't understand, it's happening right now live and in living color with Blue Bloods on CBS. You can tell the show and the network are at odds because this is the first time in the history of television that you canceled a show that has plenty more to deliver, and 55 million fans have signed a petition saying we want to keep it on television. So obviously, there's a few people in the show that don't really want to be there, and that's fine. They can go away. But for the ones that actually want to be there, you can tell it's a struggle between the network and the show. It's showing up this year. And it's the same thing that was going on with Smackdown. I started feeling that in January. I'm like, wow, they really are getting ready to split up. You know, when they started talking about the TV deals, SmackDown moving to USA, Raw moving to Netflix, and NXT moving to, like, fiddle fuck Egypt, okay? When all that started happening, you could see the tension about January when they were already like, all right, and this is what really happened. Screw that. Screw the YouTube video. They were calling up Fox like, okay, we're going to have to put the title on Cody. And Fox is like, for real, guys, can you not wait until the TV deal is done? No, we can't wait on it. The fans are getting mad. You know, I almost felt like Fox was sitting there going, screw the fans, keep the title on Roman. That's the only little bit of ROI we got on this product. If you give it away, we're not going to get shit out of it. And Triple H was like, well, you're not going to get shit out of it. And it snowballed from there to where we have some of the. This is even 2018 low for WWE. And I know a lot of people are marking out, ooh, this, that, and the other. This, no. They were throwing out some big names tonight because they knew they were going to be competing with Collision and Rampage and the Go Home and the actual preview show for All Out, which is. I'm still stuck on that steel cage match. You know what? You watch that, you're never going to be the same person again. It's one of those feels like if I watch this, I'm not going to be the same as when I walked in. No problem with it whatsoever. Love the idea, love the context. Been following this story. Actually went back and reviewed the matches people told me to review so that I can understand the full context of the story. Whew, we got one brewing there. But yeah, no, I don't think they've got that there. But getting back to it, where are we at here? We were done with Kevin Owens and that whole crew. They're gone. Anyway, yeah, the winner was Kevin Owens. LA Knight comes out, cuts a promo. We finally got a title on this man. And WWE continues to show him why he is the most undervalued employee in that locker room, on that mic, in the state. Now, the only reason that I don't give a lot of praise to his wrestling is because it's extremely dumbed down. The NWA, the TNA, it's not there. It's straight WWE. It's straight clock. It's straight hard cam. It's straight, you know, he's got that internal clock. I've got to be here and now I've got to be there. Oh, time for the BFT. Time to go home. Anyway, long story short on this one, LA Knight handed out some BFTs. God, I thought this product couldn't get any worse, and they're like, no, wait, there's more. Bend over. BFTs everywhere. BFTs. Chelsea Green. She finally gets herself a top size win. Believe it or not, mention is that big of a deal. I think Mia Yims, who I know her as, y'all call her Mention. I gotta say, after eating that knee on Tuesday, they were like, hey, if you'll eat this knee, we'll feed you mention. And she was like, okay, yeah, I'll eat a knee for that. And she ate a knee for it on Tuesday, comes back, beats mention. That was a whole lot of nothing burger, except for once again, Mia Yim. We tell you all the time, and I've seen your Twitter posts about how happy you are, and so on and so forth. Wait till them L's start racking up again. And then you're gonna need to go back to NXT to get your mind right, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, shout out, we got 8 viewers here now. 8, that's 2 more. Hey, we keep this up. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I appreciate everything. I came on with the express purpose of being late tonight because I know good and well I'm not going to get to sleep before 3 or 4. And I haven't put anything out today, and tomorrow is going to be all out. And I usually follow my mentors on that, and then if I feel like doing a stream afterwards, I'll do it. I'll have a pre-stream tomorrow talking about my picks for All Out. I'm going to go with my investment ratings tonight. Then I'm going to give my picks tomorrow. I've got quite a few picks out already on the blog. If you go to grabstv.com, it's like literally the second section. I've got a blog going where I've got all the reviews and everything else in print already on the site ready to go. And typically, sometimes I read back my reviews. I write them in such a way that I can read them, and yeah, they tend to flow. But this whole SmackDown thing tonight, I knew was just going to be a phone it in, and I was not surprised. I was not disappointed. And that's not shitting on the product either. You could really tell, and I can't say this enough, you could really tell the divorce was final at 10 p.m. tonight. They didn't give them an overrun, they didn't give them shit. Like 10 p.m. clock, we're going back to real programming that we feel like we can make some money on. Which, for those of you who don't know, the main reason that Fox is pissed off is because they lost a lot of money on this deal. They lost a lot of ad revenue on this deal that they were making with other shows, and somebody said, "Oh no, let's replace those moneymakers with this shit." And you know, the network executives are like, "Okay, we'll give it a little run. We'll see how it works." That turned into a 5 year. That turned into a hell of a divorce tonight, and it showed all the way across. It showed. But that notwithstanding, hey, here's a BFT for you. BFT, everybody, he did his Oprah thing. Everybody gets a BFT. And of course, Chelsea Green beating mention was like, okay, that's the coming out party we were looking at here. And of course, Piper Niven and her distractions didn't help, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we're down close. We're here. Versus the Street Profits and DIY, who apparently have new music. I couldn't tell much difference between it and the old music because when that one sound hits, you're like, oh, here comes DIY. Okay. It was a pretty decent match, and you were sitting there wondering, are the Bloodline going to fall tonight? Well, no, they didn't. And it was a shocker. And, at the end of this divorce, Triple H shows off the kids, the Rolex he just stole, and the big fine house. And Fox, like the disgraced mistress, has to walk off into the night with 30% of what they came in with. The Bloodline won. I know you're shocked. I was totally shocked. I was expecting maybe DIY to pull this one out in the end. Maybe the Street Profits, but no. The Bloodline persevered. They got to the end. But anyway, moving right along. I'm going to be gracious to SmackDown tonight. And from a fan perspective, I would have to say that strictly from a fan perspective, I would give this show a 5. And, you know, Chelsea Green winning, that was my moment of the night. I expected Bailey to win. I expected the Bloodline to win. I expected BFTs all over the place. These are things you expect after a while because WWE has done nothing but repeat itself. It's been on replay for about the last 3 months. The only difference is they just throw different bodies in there and they use a little bit of distraction and so on and so forth. Kind of like the same way a magician makes an elephant disappear in the room. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. From an analytical standpoint, WWE continues to scrape the bottom of the barrel, and I really have come to the conclusion that they knew the Fox deal was going away. So hopefully, and I'm holding out hope here, that the show that premieres on USA next week, with the goodwill that USA and WWE have had for the better part of 25 years, I am hoping that that displays itself and we see a little bit better SmackDown. Um, Overall, from an analytical standpoint, I couldn't even give it a point, but still, the moment of the night for me would have been Chelsea Green getting a win over mention Mia Yim, so to speak. And yet again, another lesson of do not sign on the dotted line because they gave her just enough to get her to resign, and now she's eating nails from Chelsea Green, who is a phenomenal wrestler. Do not get me wrong, but they have her in this role of a bridesmaid, but never a bride. And she can get up to the top of the ladder, but the ladder falls over. It's always some kind of calamity. It's always something messing up her path to a victory. So for her to actually catch a win tonight, that's a big deal. And that's also a signal to Mia Yim that you're probably going back to NXT because NXT could probably use the help and you're an experienced veteran. So we're probably going to put you down there so you can find yourself yet again. But that's it for that. Now we're going to get into the actual wrestling show. That would be AEW Collision and their go home show for All Out tonight. With the exception of the first, well, not even the first couple of matches. Archer versus Briscoe. Oh, hang on, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. They opened up with a video package of yet again Hangman burning down Swerve Strickland's house. Literally. I'm going to take a moment here before I get into my AEW Collision review because I really wanted to review Dynamite really bad just for that one segment. But I figured enough praise had been handed to it at that particular point in time. And of course, the praise has been astronomical. It trended on Twitter for 48 hours. It just recently stopped trending on Twitter in the last 8 hours. So obviously, everybody else liked it. It's a good segment, great segment. I really do not know what's going to happen in that match. I can't guess about it. I can't speculate about it. We don't even know the layout of the cage yet. Is there going to be space around the ring so they can get out and work around the ring? It's going to be like that particular type of cage thing. How are they going to get the implements of death into the ring? Is the question. It is not a question at this point of whether there's going to be blood. There's going to be plenty of it. There is not a question of whether or not there's going to be violence. There's going to be an ass load of violence. This is going to be a fight like I like to watch. This is not going to be for the I just came around in 2005 and all I've ever seen is WWE and some of that stuff they do is extreme. No, this ain't going to be the match for you right now. I can tell you that right now. If you ever think WWE has done something extreme, this match is going to disturb you to your core. That's why I'm looking forward to it. This is for all those people who claim they like horror movies and they see a match like this right here and they run to the bathroom and puke. That's going to be the moment right there. But yeah, I really wanted to review Dynamite just for that particular moment when Hangman's just sitting out there with his glass of water and a random long match and just drops it down, burns the whole house to the ground, and whew, still feeling that one. In fact, it was hard for me to go to sleep after that. It really was. I was so excited, so jacked. And then I tune into a show where everybody's excited and jacked about it too. So you don't actually feel like you're the only person in there doing that. So when all of that was going down and then the show after, I'm like, I would love to review this show, but there's not a damn thing I can say that hadn't already been said except for this. And I will take this one to my grave. What would make this match is if somehow Swerve gets a burn 2x4 in there. The only 2x4 left of his childhood home, and beats the holy hell out of Adam Page with that. Tony Khan, if you're listening, that would be a hell of a dynamic in that match. You know it as soon as I said it. You know I'm right. Hell, have a nail halfway hanging out of it. That's where you're going to draw your blood anyway. Y'all do thumbtacks all the time. Just have a little bit of nail sticking out of it so when it hits, it bleeds him up. You know, it works out perfectly. Nobody's got a blade. It's easy to sew. There you go. We're all good. You don't need to manufacture this violence. We got it right here. So, but anyway, show kicks off with a recap of that, which I could see that recap probably about 10,000 times. In fact, I saved the video on my phone, and when I'm just feeling nostalgic, I'm going to go right back to that thing. That's going to bring me right back to the 1980s. Hell, it's probably going to bring me back to the 70s. For those of y'all who are young, don't know that. Back in the 70s, what you're seeing with Hangman and Swerve Strickland, they found a way to get to that level like almost every single month. And when the Starcades came around, oh my gosh, they found a way to get past that level on a regular basis. So for those of us who are old school true wrestling fans and not necessarily the hype and the cinema part and the drama and the Dom on a pole match and the Jay Yeaton in the bedroom with Rhea bullshit. No, we didn't have all that. We had the Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page. And just about every match was like that. And they tried to top each other. And in fact, I was telling Mr. Starks this one time. I was actually at the Greensboro Coliseum for that infamous moment when Dusty Rhodes ran in to help Ric Flair, and the Four Horsemen came in there and kayfabe broke his arm. For those of you who were not there for that, the Four Horsemen literally, this was not figuratively and it was not part of an angle. The Four Horsemen literally needed a passel of state troopers to get out of Greensboro. They were originally scheduled to be in the airport there in Greensboro. They drove to Charlotte to catch a plane. That's how good that angle was. And that's how good this angle is right here. This angle is that good. So a recap of that, that's nostalgic for me. But we kicked off with the Continental Contenders. Oh, goodness gracious, too many C's. The Continental Contenders clash. We kicked off with a surprising moment. Lance Archer and Briscoe. This was a mini cheat code of a match that nobody knew they wanted. But for those of y'all who don't believe that Tony books the same way as WWE, let me take a moment because the rest of this ain't going to make sense. What I'm getting ready to say ain't going to make sense if you don't understand this part. WWE uses their house shows to test their product. That's why the house shows always look so convoluted. They've got storyline ideas that they're working on. And it requires matchups. So a lot of times WWE uses their house shows to enhance their storylines. Because 9 times out of 10, anything you see on television has been tried in at least 4 territories and has received an approval enough from the fans that they have invested people to write a storyline for it. Because WWE is like, they say 40 years old, it's 80 years old. It's older than I am. It's older than my dad. My dad watched WWF when he was stationed up in New York. And that was, yeah, a while ago. He went to Korea, to give you any idea. So WWE does their storyline prep with house shows. Tony Khan does not run house shows. And I can understand why. WWE pretty much dries the territory up for 6 or 8 months, money wise. And so it's hard to come in behind them and try to sell tickets off of that. You know, I'm really surprised with the move they're making against this thing in December on the Saturday. I'm kind of surprised that Tony Khan's got the sales he's got already. But he got in there early. He got tickets sold early. So that kind of helped out. But WWE basically dries up a territory anywhere they go. That's fact. So the reason I said all that was to say this: the Continental Contenders clash between Lance Archer and Mark Briscoe, or Jay Briscoe. I get them confused. The Briscoe. I just say Briscoe. That way I don't mess up the first name. This is where Tony Khan mixes in a little bit of his stuff to see what he's going to do. And this match actually turned out to be quite a cheat code. So in the future, let's say a couple of months down the road, we catch another pay-per-view, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Briscoe's defending that Ring of Honor World title against Lance Archer. That's because of this match that happened tonight. It was a mini cheat code. They pulled out some stuff out of that match that I haven't seen Briscoe or Archer do. The only thing that I would, the only negative thing that I would have to say, and I don't even think it's negative, but I think Lance needs to find himself a hair color, and I think he needs to find himself a different look coming in. That blue braid thing going on tonight, that was not very, I mean, I get where he's going with it, but yeah. Other than that, this was a total like mini cheat code right here, and I would love to see this match get run back. Briscoe picks up the pin, gets himself into the Continental Classic four-way match coming up tomorrow night on AEW All Out. And then in between that, Archer, you know, he's not done, so on and so forth. We know that. Anyway, then we get the Grizzled Young Veterans versus the Iron Savages. This was a pretty quick match. It was almost like it wasn't a complete squash, but it was almost like a squash. And at the end of the day, the Grizzled Young Vets come out victorious. And following that, let's see where I'm at here on the sheet. Following that, FTR comes out, starts to clean the ring out, because, you know, last week the Grizzled Young Veterans came in and cleaned FTR out. This week FTR comes in and cleans them out. They challenge them to a match next week, the week thereafter, in a speedway, in a subway, a speedway, a baseball field, a football field, a dark alley. It doesn't matter. They're going to be there for it. They want the match. They know the Grizzled Young Vets want the match. And so the match will come. It'll probably come next week, so on and so forth, week thereafter. Not sure this match needs to happen right now, because Grizzled Young Vets need to beat up a few more jobbers. I don't feel like you beat up some jobbers and then you jump directly on FTR. That just, I mean, the transition for that's killing me. I understand what's going on, because like I just explained before I got into this, you know, WWE uses their house shows to work their storylines and work their angles. AEW actually does their storyline work and development literally in the ring. I don't know that I particularly care to see that, nor do I want to see it, but it's going to happen probably next week, probably the week thereafter. Sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to get FTR versus Grizzled Young Veterans. It's going to be a banger match, but it doesn't have enough yet for me to say that the Grizzled Young Veterans deserve an immediate shot at FTR. I think they probably should work them. Maybe Tony's having problems getting enhancement talent. Maybe where they're going doesn't have a good enough base of enhancement talent. You know, a lot of times these shows they work, they have good indie promotions there, and like in the instance in Winston-Salem and Collision, or Dynamite, I'm sorry, Dynamite, I'm an idiot. In the case of Winston-Salem, when Tony Khan needed somebody for Camille Brick, he went over to AML, owned by Tracy. I know him pretty well, you know, and said, "Hey Tracy, can you spare me some people?" He's like, "I got one." Then he went to another promotion and got another one to get that 2-on-1 match. They're very well trained, very good wrestlers, but they also know how to spot job. See, on their actual shows, the people that Camille was beating up, their actual names on their shows. But they also know how to spot job, and they know how to work it to make her look the best. So a lot of times, I understand that Tony can't get into an area where he's going to find that kind of farm talent to be able to put together some matches, but he needs to do it that way. Shout out to 11 viewers. We picked up 3. Thank you. Always going to shout out the viewers. Like, comment, share. I mean, I'm not even worried about donations. I don't care about them right now. Wouldn't ask for them anyway. You know, eventually I'm going to get monetized. That'll be the donation. Showing up is your donation. I appreciate that because it is what it is. And like I said, for those of you tuning in late, I think I've got a sponsorship deal going through next week. Hence the new look, new layout. And of course, you see Bennett Fine Homes. If you are in the market for a luxurious cabin, Bennett Fine Homes, one of the best builders I've ever seen. My side job, the job I actually do for a paycheck, I do a lot of construction inspections and I do a lot of home inspections. I've seen a lot of Bennett's work. Bennett is very good. They're one of the few left that actually know what a crown looks like. And for those of y'all who don't know what a crown is, that's the part that keeps your front door from being kind of janky and easy to kick open or not kick open. They understand crowns. They understand security. So if you're looking for a luxurious, and it is luxurious, trust me. If you're looking for a retirement home that you can gladly retire in and tell the rest of the world you've made it, Bennett Fine Homes, that's your group right there. So there's your shout out, Zach, in case you're actually watching the show or listening. In case you're catching the playback, there's your shout out that I'm giving you in good faith. And I would love to hear back from you on Monday. So there we are. Yeah, I'm telling my business out there. Don't care. But I like Zach Bennett. Zach Bennett's a good Christian man. And I don't say that just dismissively. The man has always been fair with me. He's always been honest with me. And like, you know, I mentioned to him, I was like, hey, you know, we're doing some stuff. And they're like, count us in. We'll figure it out on Monday. And I'm like, cool, thank you. They're one of the good people out there. So, and they build expensive homes. They build inexpensive homes. But they build good homes. So I will shout them out from here till the doomsday. It doesn't matter what show I'm doing. I'll shout them out. Speaking of which, we got sports shows coming. We're going to have some high school sports coming up. I'm going to be doing some reviews of high school sports. When the basketball season kicks in, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of North Carolina high school basketball, a lot of nationwide high school basketball. For those of you who don't know, basketball is actually my forte. I have coached on the college level. I have coached on the high school level. Now, granted, the colleges weren't all that great. I didn't really care. I have done some high-profile colleges, but I will not speak out on that because with high-profile colleges comes high-profile problems, and I would rather not relive any of those. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. So I've decided that I'm going to cover some basketball this year. I'm going to cover some on the high school level because they don't get enough coverage, and they need to. There's a lot of good players out there, and if you don't know who they are, by the time they get to college, when you get the little package, you're not getting the whole package. So I've been talking about doing that, talking to a few conferences, seeing what they say, and so on and so forth. So I would look for that coming in the fall, probably in late November because that's when our seasons start really kicking off here. But anyway, back to the wrestling. Sorry, I'm just on Tangent City tonight. Hey, we got 11 viewers out there. I appreciate that. Appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me here. But anyway, getting back to Collision, of course, we can't have a Collision without Orange Cassidy. Long story short on that one, Cassidy won his match in the match where they put two of the Desperates together. That way we didn't have to cover one Desperate back to back. Uh, Brian Keith is good, don't get me wrong. I think his comeuppance are coming. It's just a matter of we had to put Orange Cassidy somewhere and we had to put Brian Keith somewhere, so we put them together because nobody would be invested in the Continental title match if it had Orange Cassidy and Brian Keith in it. That's just a fact. It just is what it is. Keith put up a hell of a fight, though, but at the end of the day, Orange Cassidy pulled out the win with the orange punch and the spinning DDT. And then we had a shitty Jericho promo, and we had some good stuff from Mercedes Moné. And, guys, I cannot overestimate how great Mercedes Moné and Hikaru Shida are going to be for the TBS title. I cannot overstate it. It cannot be overstated. For those of you who saw Shit Baker and Mercedes Moné at All In, and you were like there was something off with that match, yeah, it was Shit Baker. That's what was off of that match. You're going to find out it all out, especially if you've got it. I do have it. And, of course, we will be doing a review of that. The time part is what's killing me because I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to review it, but I will review it tomorrow night, especially if I have enough energy after the other reviews that I have to help with. Then I do my own because much like in wrestling, I am carrying the water, I am setting the ring up, and then I go out and do my own shows. Because I feel like that you should respect people who teach you things, and you should respect them even after you're successful. You don't respect them up to the point of where you're successful. And you're like, well, we made it. We made it. So on and so forth. Got to cut down some of that reverb in my ear there. No, you don't do that. So I'm going to be helping with some streams before I do my own. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I already know that one of the streams is going to go off a little late. So mine's probably going to go off a little later. But either way, I will be here for that. But yeah, Mercedes Moné put down some pretty good talk, so on and so forth. And of course, Hikaru Shida wins pretty much. It was not an easy win. It was not an easy win overall against Virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo. I had to think about that for a minute. Sometimes when I'm not working on a script and I have to remember everything, names are kind of slow. So I apologize for that. Shida and Purrazzo was a hell of a cheat code of a match. Purrazzo, the only thing I've got to say about Deonna Purrazzo is that I need her to start picking up more W's. She's been catching a lot of L's lately. Of course, catching some L's to Thunder Rosa ain't that big a deal because they had a blood feud going on. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But I need her to start getting in situations where she's picking up wins. But then again, my friends at Covalent reminded me tonight that Hikaru Shida was being booked very similar to that. And then afterwards, all of a sudden, she got 2 title runs out of it. So I'm kind of hoping that that's where they're going with Deonna Purrazzo because she has really, really been a trooper. I can't say if I were a top talent, I would eat that many L's and still come to work happy. She still manages to come to work happy. It's a beautiful thing. She's a great worker. She's going to be a great champion. She's going to be another one of those women that you can look at and go, that's my champion. Because she is. Oh, and by the way, the Outrunners picked up a win. This was a night of first. These are just now they're coming to me because it's getting close to 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, and I'm getting tired. Even though we're only an hour and some change into this, I didn't want to come on and stay a long time, but I did want to stay for a little while because I haven't done a stream and I'm not going to be able to do it my regular time tomorrow. So I figured I'd jump in. Wow, we just hit 12. Thank you, thank you. Happy to have you. Happy to have you. No, that was the wrong one. That's the one I'm looking for. Very happy to have you. The Outrunners picked up a win. So yeah, magic does happen occasionally, and lightning does strike in the same place twice. But that was their first AEW win, picked up over Bangin' Matthews. I'm not even going to get into details on that because it was just. I'm glad they won. They made a big deal out of it. Then that was, of course, before Moxley got a hold of him with a fucking crowbar. And I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. It'll hit me in a minute. But then she put the woman through the wall, literally. Nobody's brought that up tonight. I was wondering if Tony's sitting there going, wow, dude, I got the show renewed. Now I got to go buy a wall. But yeah, just damn near put her through the wall. We had the Renee Paquette hot seat interview between Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. Willow. She's just so damn adorable. Um, that was pretty much setting up for the Chicago street fight. I don't think there's going to be that much interference. I'm disagreeing with all my other people. I think they're going to let this one go through. They've had some participators with the main two in Ishii and Stokely. They had participators in the last match. I think this one here, they're just going to have to open up and just let it go. That's one of the matches I'm actually invested in, by the way, too. But, this is just the typical, you're not going to beat me, I'm going to beat you. No, 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 I'm going to beat you. No, 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 I'm going to beat you. And, of course, we had one of the matches of the night, Takeshita versus the Beast Mortos. Please, pretty please, with sugar on top. Pretty please. Could I have more of this, please? Because this is what I signed up for. But yeah, we had, after that, we had me sweating and causing reverb in my speaker here. So let me turn that down yet again. That was where we had the Sheeta Peraza match. Mercedes Monet comes in after the Sheeta win. Actually, Mercedes stands up at the ramp, talks a little bit of smack. Camille Brick hits Sheeta from the backside. We had a little back and forth there, which eventually ended up with Mercedes hitting Camille with a kendo stick, and then Sheeta cleaning house. Automatically tells me Mercedes is going over tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. The match was good setup. The match was good, and Sheeta and Sheeta and Peraza was a cheat code, mini cheat code, but a cheat code nonetheless. Sheeta and Peraza were damn good. That was a damn good match. Damn good climactic part here. Now I know the other podcasters are going to be going, Camille's supposed to be an enforcer. Why is she not enforcing? Because shit happens. That's why. Sometimes people trip over their own feet. It happens. And that's what happened here. I thought it was kind of comedic. I thought it was amusing. But at the same time, once again, going back to that 70s stuff, when you set up matches the correct way, see, I was thinking at one time that maybe Sheeta could take the belt off of him. Then they could move Mercedes Monet into the world title picture and let Sheeta hold that TBS title down for a little while. But with this little display right here, it tells me they're going to keep Monet where she's at. Mariah May is going to have her hands full. So that tells me that they're going forward with that, and they're going to leave Mercedes Monet where she's at. The fact that Mariah May does not have a match tomorrow night, but we definitely have the celebration party, which I'm pretty sure If you're paying $50 for this, it's going to be worth it. Um, Tells me that Mercedes Moné is probably going to go over Sheeta, keep the belt for another program with somebody else. I'm hoping they'll run it back the Sheeta match. If we could get three out of that, three or four good matches out of that, I'd be perfectly happy with that. I would not cry, not even one little bit. Those two ladies can go. So, where was I at? Lost myself there for a minute. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Everything got all goofed up in here. Anyway, going back to the other match though, Takeshita takes the win with what do they call it? Raging Fire. I had to think about it for a second. I apologize. Raging Fire. Takeshita wins. Raging Fire. Cheat code, cheat code, cheat code, cheat code, cheat code, cheat code. More of that, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, Sheeta Perazzo, cheat code. We just had cheat codes all damn night. Not bad. Not bad. We did have our resident. I'm not going to say it's even the resident comedy act now because I'm really digging this Saraya Harley Cameron bit where Saraya comes out and cuts her promo, and Harley Cameron just comes in with these little one-liners and these zingers right behind it. This is really working for me. I could really see Jamie Hayter and Saraya going at it the same way we're going to see Mercedes Moné and Harakita Shida tomorrow go at. I can see that match. And I can see Tony Storm sitting in the background looking at Mariah May going, girlie, I think we got some competition here. But anyway, another great comedic sketch between Saraya and Harley Cameron that really drives the point home. I'd like to see Harley Cameron more in the ring because her skills are getting better. I think she can drop the comedic sidekick thing unless they're just enjoying it that much. If they are, kudos to them. I'm happy for them. It's working out. Damn sure they got chemistry. I mean, damn sure they got chemistry. Gave us another thing here. I'm escaping the Acclaimed altogether because Max Caster showing up there, the greatest wrestler in the world bullshit. I'm escaping that whole thing. I'm not giving him anything else. Um, where else was I here? Then we had the 8-man tag team mayhem. And I know I'm missing a match somewhere in here, but it'll come back to me in a minute. Trying to remember all of it together without using scripted stuff because I've got enough screens to look at without having to look at a script too. They sold just enough of Danielson and Perry, and then those two conveniently get the hell out of the match and let everybody else work. I'm telling you right now, Blackpool Combat Club, Young Bucks. If the Young Bucks keep bringing it to these matches like they've been bringing it for All Out tonight, if that same energy flows over into All Out, I think we got ourselves a candidate here. Now, I know there's not a whole lot of people invested in this, and that's mainly the Young Bucks' fault, but they really have been trying to do some good work. Last two matches I've seen out of them been phenomenal. Those are the Young Bucks I can see the thing about. When everybody was like, oh, Young Bucks, Young Bucks. When I first got into AEW, the Young Bucks weren't working up to their potential. And I'm like, what the hell is the deal with the Young Bucks? They suck. Because they do. You know, when they work the way they've been working here recently, yeah, they suck. But these last two matches have shown me that they have definitely improved. Wheeler Yuta, once again, goes out and tears it up. Pac was just being Pac. That was just Pac being Pac is just Pac being Pac, and it's freaking awesome. And of course, the match was so good it cut right into Rampage, which is where we're heading right after this here. But yeah, the right team won. The right team won to tell me three things. Number one, Pac is not going to go over um, Will Ospreay. Pac is a phenomenal wrestler. Pac can even throw together a makeshift promo. But the ROI on Will Ospreay, yeah, the night's starting to catch up to me. I apologize. The ROI on Will Ospreay with that title right now is just so absolutely fucking phenomenal. I don't see Pac winning. Now, what I do see, and it's a spoiler, I don't think it's a spoiler, it's a bold prediction. Since Tony's been in the mood of making two belts out of some people, especially those that have been true to the company, wink, wink, nod, nod, Dustin Rhodes, I don't see a legitimate reason not to put the titles on Blackpool Combat Club at this point. They showed up, they showed out, and all of the factors that I look for in a title change happened tonight. Strong enough to put on a show, not strong enough to get the win, and typically, when you're looking at a match like that, typically old school would be a 50-50 booking thing. Whoever was on top at the end of the show lost. Whoever was on bottom at the end of the show won. Created this feigned sense of an underdog. Even though they're not an underdog, they're not even close. You can't even call Blackpool Combat Club an underdog. And you damn sure can't call the Young Bucks underdogs. But the caveat to the way this match worked is it seemed to me like there was enough frustration built in there that I kind of got the I'm tired of going out here and putting on 5-star banger matches. Give them the titles. I got that feeling out of the Jacksons tonight. I could be misreading that because I had a lot going on, a lot on my mind, a lot working out there. But I could be misreading it in the fact that they could just be putting off those vibes intentionally. 1 second here. They could be putting those vibes on out there intentionally because there's a little reverse that goes on in these things, and it's the caveat. If you've watched enough of the wrestling, then you know where it's going. Normally, the team on top loses and the team on bottom. That was going to be a loud one. Sorry about that. Usually, the team on bottom is the team that wins. The team on top is the one that loses. But there were so many other factors going on with this, with Bryan Danielson, Jack Perry running out of the ring, and actually with Wheeler Yuta picking up the pin. That tells me we could see that tomorrow. And if that happens, that will signal to me that perhaps the EVPs are going to be converted over to actual wrestlers. Because what they're doing right now is garbage. I'm not even going to play. And some of their booking style is just, it's contrary to the point of AEW. And it's obvious enough that it's a turnoff. So they left me with that vibe of, we're going to let Wheeler Yuta pick up the pin. In fact, we'll let him do it again tomorrow. Y'all can have the titles. We're going to go do our desk job. And I think that Tony's sitting back in the back of his mind going, no, you're not. That's the feeling, the vibe that I got out of this match. Collision, from a fan and an analytical standpoint, 8.5. Moment of the night for Collision, it's a toss-up because everything was just so damn good. There was the feel-good moment of the Outrunners winning. And by God, they were due for a win because they put on some stellar job work. And I figured it was just a matter of time before Tony rewarded them with a team that they could beat legitimately and would look good doing it. I do believe they have arrived. Um, Lower end of the card right now. I think their lower end to mid card arrived right now. They're definitely not going to arrive at the title picture. But we don't have any mid card tag team titles anyway. And I'm not giving Tony any ideas. Bottom line on that. Yeah, yeah. I was at an 8.5, somewhere in that range. Analytical standpoint, I'm sitting at about a 7.9. Orange Cassidy kills it for me every single time. And I know there's people who like Orange Cassidy. Just don't count me in that. He hasn't done anything to win me over. Jack Perry actually worked his ass off and won me over as a fan. Orange Cassidy's just like, I don't care. So if you don't care, I don't care. And I'm going to keep not caring by every time they throw you in something where it doesn't make sense. You do not, Orange Cassidy does not need to be on every pay-per-view card. Orange Cassidy does not need to have the most wins of any active participant this year in AEW in the men's side. That did not need to happen on any planet, on any stage, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. So he's an automatic disappointment for me on that. So that's where I'm at with that. But then we moved on into Rampage here, and yeah, we kicked off Rampage with Queen Aminata versus Miss Kate. Now, where have we seen this before? It was a squash match. It was over like it started. Kind of like the Giovanni match earlier in Smackdown. It was over with before it started. But unlike the Giovanni match, apparently women can go longer than 5 seconds. And it showed. It was still a decent ass match. Overall, it was good. Aminata picks up the pin in the squash. Then we are skipping we're skipping MJF and Daniel Garcia. Long story short, if MJF wins tomorrow, we know Daniel Garcia is heading to WWE. Some of us really hope Daniel Garcia is headed to the WWE. And some of us really hope that MJF and Shit Baker aren't that far behind. Y'all can have them. MJF has been auditioning for WWE for like 2 fucking years as it is. Shit Baker is Shit Baker. That's all there is to it. And Daniel Garcia, I don't think he's that boring, but his appeal was long gone for me. But yeah, the Queen Aminata match was really good. Then following up after stupid ass MJF promo, we get Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and Hologram versus the Dork Order. Wish they could go away, but they're not. Yeah, I'm trying to find a nice way to put all this. Hologram, 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 hologram. For those of y'all who do not think that Tony Khan can make stars, he's making one right in front of you. And cheat code, Tony Khan has filed for a clone who's going to be the opposite of hologram. And he's actually building a star rival just for a hologram. It's coming for the end of the year. Clone. Going to be another mask guy. Long story short, Hologram and crew pick up the pin. In the back, one thing I did overlook because I kind of escaped it. Didn't want to escape it, but I kind of escaped it because it needed to be escaped. MXM versus House of Black in a fashion. Tony, don't ever do that again. The wrestling part of it was good. Yo, it was a miss. It was a complete miss. Now, I'm pretty sure the fans were into it because it's Chicago, and Chicago fans go crazy about anything wrestling. Doesn't matter how you do it. But I skipped over that match, saved it for the end, because the hologram match was so good in contrast to that match was so bad. Not from a wrestling standpoint, but the House of Black does not need to be in a fashion show. Just, just, no. No fashion shows anymore for House of Black. Don't do that ever again. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. Never. They say never. I'm saying never. Don't never do that again. Ever. I'll give you a pass because the rest of the night was just that fucking good, but don't do that again. Do that again, and I'm going to have some harsh criticism for that. And trying to figure out what the new name for Ass Boy is going to be. Can we just stop all that too? Ass Boy works, okay? His dad was Ass Boy. He can be Ass Boy. It's fine. And we closed out Rampage tonight with one hellacious Will Ospreay promo. Yeah, it's getting 3 o'clock in the morning, and we can tell. We closed out the night with one hellacious Will Ospreay promo, letting Pac know, hey, I followed in your footsteps, and now I'm better than you. These are the good promos right here. Pac not so good on the mic. Ospreay pretty good on the mic. Ospreay told the story for everybody. He basically told you the storyline, the storyline behind this match. Laid it all out in detail. Said he could say some names that nobody's ever heard of, but would ring Pac's ear. These were two gentlemen having a conversation outside of our sphere, and we were allowed into that personal conversation. You want to know what sells Will Ospreay to me every fucking week? Shit like this right here. That's fact. I mean, it just is no other way to say it. We got insider information on a personal conversation between two men about subjects that we are not privy to. Enjoy it, relish it, live in that moment. Why? Because it's very rare that you get those sort of glimpses. So enjoy them when you get them. And by the way, that's how we tell stories too. But yeah, Will Ospreay basically said he's still going to be international champion after All Out. And with that, we headed on out for the night. We finished up Rampage on a high note. We told some more stories and so on and so forth. I've got a list of the matches for tomorrow night before I let you guys go. 11 viewers. I'm happy with it. I'll take 11 all day. I just did a show not too long ago for 2 people. I'll take 11. 11 is better than 2 all day, every day. Got my investment ratings on this stuff here. I'm going to go through all the matches. Oh, yeah, we did pick up one killer 6-man 3-way tag match for the All Out 0 hour. And I did not get all of it. I do know that we're going to get Beast Mortos and I can never remember something. Big dude with money, looks like Suge Knight. Anyway, them and then who was it? Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett, and the other dude. They're in it. I'm sorry. I'll get the match for you tomorrow when I do the prediction shows. But the main card here, we're going to start out with the Continental matchup, the 4-way between Okada, Takeshita, It is Mark Briscoe. I don't know why in the world I kept trying to call him Jay Briscoe. Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy. I am on a scale of 1 to 10. My investment in this would be a whole lot better if Orange Cassidy got knocked out of the ring 1 minute into the match and we didn't see him anymore. My investment rating for the other three would be very high. My investment rating for this right now is basically a 1, not even there. Street fight between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, I'm at a 6 on that one. I was at a 5, but after this little meeting tonight, I think it's going to be a little bit hotter. I don't think it's going to be a show stealer, but it is definitely going to carry its weight on the show. Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club. I'm around a 5 on that one. MJF and Daniel Garcia, I have no interest in that whatsoever. It's a 0. There's nothing you can do to get it higher than a 0. It will be a 0. I am not interested in this match. The only thing that I care about is apparently everybody's saying if MJF wins, that's a pretty sure sign that Daniel Garcia is going to WWE. So I'm sure MJF will be twice as pissed about that because he wanted to go to WWE. Then we get into the meat of the night. Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson. I'm at a solid 5. Bryan Danielson never has bad matches. I don't see him having a bad match here. I'm not sure about Jack Perry because he's only been a stunt monkey for me the whole time I've been watching. I haven't seen a serious Jack Perry match yet. So that's why I'm sitting at a 5. And people are telling me, oh no, he can wrestle. The only time I've seen Jack Perry was when he was Jungle Boy. Okay? And Jungle Boy was not that good. Not on any planet. Or any known or unknown universe. He was just not that good. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt when everybody says he's gotten way better than what he is in singles action. I've only seen him be the stunt guy for the last 2 pay-per-views. That's all I've seen him do. Hikaru Shida and Mercedes Moné. I'm going to go 7 here, and because I wasn't really thinking about this, Camille Brick has been barred from ringside. But my buddies over at Covalent TV seem to think the Renegade Twins are going to be the one that does the run-in and saves the match. If that happens, I think I'm going to be pretty invested in it because now we have a faction with Mercedes Moné being the actual CEO of this faction. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Will Ospreay and Pac, I'm a solid 8 on that. I've seen both of those wrestle inside and outside of the company. I've seen their past matches. I've seen them work crowds. I've seen them do everything. I'm at a solid 8 on this, and I don't think I'm coming off of that number at all. And finally, for the main event with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 100 on that one. I'm thoroughly invested in the match. They've done their work. They've done the promos. They've done the vignettes. They've done the back and forth. They've done you either need to get out of my way or find that fire. Well, I would say that Hangman found that fire at your home. I am 100%. That is the main reason I got this pay-per-view. Well, the main reason I got the pay-per-view is because I got it cheaper in a package price. But the main reason that I'm happy I got the pay-per-view, this match. And in fact, when I do my prediction show tomorrow, which is going to happen early in the morning, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that and why it is significant and why it could not have come at a better time for AEW right now. Because we have that TV deal coming. We know we've got that. Unsanctioned, lights out. WWE. This is how you go home book a major pay-per-view. In your case, a plea. This is how it's done. This is how it's always been done. My conversion moment was at Double or Nothing when I realized that Tony Khan knew how to book pay-per-views. Tony Khan books pay-per-views that I gladly spend money on. I will eat peanut butter sandwiches for a week if I have to. I ain't struggling that bad, y'all, but I'm just saying, if I had to, and Maple Leaf Pro, I've got that package. I've got that 2-night package. That's coming in October. You're getting a review out of that. There are just certain people. Scott D'Amore, he books hellacious pay-per-views. This one is no different. Tony Khan, hellacious pay-per-views. Weekly programming, weekly episodic programming, it's hit or miss sometimes. And we go through these droughts, I'm told. I've not physically gone through the drought yet. Well, actually, I have with this last run. But I'm told that AEW goes through droughts. And that we are coming out of a drought now, and we're getting into some really good hardcore pay-per-view stuff. We're getting next level pay-per-view work. And I'm good with that. Keep it coming. But that Hangman Adam Page match and Swerve, I ain't seen anything like this since the 80s. Looking forward to that. Sold out, totally invested in that. So, yeah, final thoughts for the night, because we are getting there. It is well past 3 o'clock in the morning. It is raining on top of everything, like we needed more rain at the coast. We still haven't recovered from the floods 2 weeks ago. Here comes some more rain. So we're not going to have hurricanes. We're just going to need pontoon boats to get to the grocery store to go shopping. That's all. Final thoughts for the night. When you get up tomorrow, and I mean this sincerely, all the jokes are aside, there's no cussing going on here. None of that stuff. When you wake up tomorrow, the first thing I want you to do is think about somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time. Call them up. Just tell them you were thinking about them. If any of you had any idea how many guns that has pulled out of people's mouths, you'd do it a hell of a lot more often. Those are facts. Call somebody tomorrow that you're really thinking about. Let them know you're thinking about them, because you just don't know. You might be the catalyst that saves a life. And all you had to do was for total free 99. Free 99. Pick up the phone, dial 10 digits. Hey, dude, I know it's been a while. Just wanted you to know you were on my mind. Not a hard thing to do. And no, I'm not wrapping it up in a bow like Adam Pearce talking about love someone. No, you don't. It's got nothing to do with that. It's called being a fucking member of the human race. Okay? If you are a member of the human race, pick up the damn phone tomorrow. Call somebody, tell them you're thinking about them. It'll make their day, and it might just save their life. But tomorrow, the wait is over. It's over. We got all out tomorrow. You're going to get a review from me. You're going to get a prediction show. And I will make the call as to when the review is going to happen. I'm going to get a feel for it depending on what everybody's doing. I may go early. I may go late. Just be looking for the pops, guys. But anyway, it is, wow. We're up to 13 viewers right at the end. Thank you. Oh, that's great. I'll take 13 all day and twice on Sunday. Trust me. Thank you all. Thank you for following. Thank you for viewing. And for those of you who've been here since the beginning of the show and you're here now, and it is 3 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, so that means it's got to be 11 or midnight out on the West Coast. Let's get some sleep and let's get ready for some kick ass action tomorrow, okay? This has been a pleasure to do tonight. Thank you very much. And I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. But for right now, I just have one thing to say, and that is good night or good morning, America, wherever you are. Take care.